Welcome guys, this is EBM and today I'm coming with the information about scholarships. Bigger question is going to be answered today, and the question of today is, what are the 5 important questions you need to ask yourself before applying and before getting fully funded scholarships? Yes, we know that everyone is looking for opportunities to study. This doesn't matter whether you are in developing countries or whether you are in developed world. We all know that getting scholarships is one of the way to go. It is so expensive. Millions of Americans are not able to afford going to college because it's expensive. Some have to take loans, and a few get scholarships. But if you are from developing countries, we know that most of the African countries or Asian countries, they have what we call the student board. You get the student loan. But how they are structured in a way that it is difficult to get another loan for graduate studies, for instance. So that is difficulties. So that's why I'm dedicating my YouTube channel to talk on things which can be able to be practical, helping you. So what are the most 5 questions you need to ask yourself before applying and before getting fully funded scholarships? You can ask yourself, why this guy is talking so much about scholarship? Does he also know scholarship? Because maybe you have just come across to this YouTube channel and you have seen a lot of videos about just green card lottery. But you wonder, how do I know things about scholarship? So for those who do not know, my name is Ernest Boniface Makulilo EBM, and I came to the United States of America in 2008 through one of the most prestigious scholarship on the planet Earth, Fulbright Scholarship. So I came here, I got a scholarship of over $40,000 for 10-month program to teach Swahili language and African culture at one of the universities here in the United States. Then later, I had to apply for other scholarships. I did my master's at the University of San Diego for peace studies and conflict resolution, where I was given over $60,000 scholarship money, $36,000 for tuition from the John B. Kroc School of Peace. They gave me that one, and the Rotary Ambassadorial Scholarship also gave me $24,000. So if you add, it was $60,000, and the previous scholarship was about $40,000. So in total, I received over $100,000 US as a scholarship money. I've applied also for PhD. I got the scholarship, but I decided not to do for PhD. So when I'm talking about scholarship, I know every single process, because apart from going myself through the process and got those scholarships, I've been advising people for over 14 years about scholarships. And I have published 3 books on scholarships. One is called, obviously, it's a Swahili book with Aminu Gaibuni's scholarship overseas in Swahili language. Another one is called The True Memoirs of the Scholarship Guy. And another one is this one, which is called PhD Scholarships for Africans in the United States. I'm showing you this one because you'll be able to get this book for free if you want. If you go to my YouTube, if you go to my website, I have also a website, it's called the EBM Scholarships with S, multiple. EBMSCHOLARShips.com. If you go there, the second post is about a free book on how you can download PhD scholarships for Africans in the United States. And even if the book says PhD scholarships, or the book says about scholarships in the United States, it doesn't mean that you cannot use this book to apply in Europe. It doesn't mean that you cannot use this book to apply for masters. The first 40% of the book is talking about any scholarship can be able to apply, whether it's in Europe, whether it's here, how to use the how to write recommendation letters, how to write everything you need to know is in this book. So go to EBMSCHOLARShips.com website. You'll be able to see free download of this book. For those who are in Tanzania, they can go to the app of the phone called SIM Gazette, like SIM card, SIM SIM Gazette. You'll be able to see all my books, which are for free over there. So I know what I'm talking about when I talk about scholarship opportunities. So let's go now to, but before I continue, why can't you go and subscribe to my YouTube channel? The goal is to reach 100,000 subscribers very soon. Thank you, everyone. First of all, we have reached the landmark of 80,000 already subscribers. So let me go to answer the question. 5 questions to ask yourself if you wanted to go and apply for scholarships. Because some people, they just say, oh, I want to apply for scholarship. EBM, help me to apply for scholarship. But what are the 5 important questions you need to apply before you apply? Number 1 question. What level of study do you want to pursue? What level of study? That's question number 1. The level of study will be able to determine the resources. The level of study will be able to determine the location. The level of study will be able to help with so many things. I can give you an example. You want to pursue bachelor's degree. Do you want to pursue master's degree? Do you want to pursue PhD, doctoral studies? Do you want to pursue postdoctoral studies? The level of study will be able to determine so many things. So if you want to pursue bachelor's degree, I've already said it over and over how difficult it is to apply and get bachelor's degree. Why there are so few scholarships available for bachelor's degree. There is a longer video. I explain the reasoning why preference is not on the bachelor's degree. Yes, I talked about Berea College, one of the few examples of the universities which provide fully funded scholarships for international students for bachelors. But it's very rare to find a bachelor's degree. But just in a very high level, let me put it this way. The countries which don't speak English as the national language, as a mother tongue. You know, when I'm talking about scholarship, I'm not talking scholarship to go to Djibouti or to go to Tanzania. I'm talking scholarship to go to United States. I'm talking scholarship to go to Canada. I'm going to scholarship to Australia, New Zealand, and Europe. I'm not even talking scholarship to go to China. Why should you go to China? I mean, for me, I'm not going. If you want to go, it's up to you. So, those are the things like, number 1, the countries which don't speak English, from kindergarten to bachelor's degree, teach their education, use their language as the medium of instructions. So if you want to go to study in France, you need to know French for bachelor's degree. So the English-speaking countries are very few. United States, UK, Australia, a little bit of New Zealand, 60-70% of Canada, exception of Quebec. Majority of the other countries in the world speak other languages. So for that particular case, they cannot provide most of the scholarships for bachelor's degree if you're coming from other countries, unless others you speak Norwegian, you speak Dutch, you speak German, you speak Swedish, you speak Danish, all those kind of things. But if you go for masters, there are so many programs. Those countries, even if they don't speak English, they have so many programs in English language. That's why we have so many scholarships for masters and PhD in almost even non-English speaking countries. But for bachelor's degree, you are limited. And there are other reasons about the impact you are going to have. All these kind of things, will be able to focus on that. So the first question you need to ask yourself, what level of study do you want to pursue? So if you're in high school, make sure you're going to study in your own country first. Study in your own country for bachelor's degree and get ready for masters. If you have masters, get ready for PhD. If a PhD you want to do postdoctoral, find a way to do postdoctoral. So that's the first question, level of study. Second question, when do you want to pursue that level of study? When do you want to start your studies? As an international student, you have to know that you don't apply anytime you want, and you don't start education wherever you want. Right now, we are in the year 2021. If you want to apply as an international student, you are applying so that you can go to study in the following year in August, where you are going to start your studies. International students, they start in the what we call academic year. Academic year starts in August and September, depending on the university, end of August or beginning of September. So we have what we call fall semester in the United States, but the same semester in Europe they call autumn semester. So that is something you need to know. So if you are going to apply, when do you want to go to study? If you want to go to study, because some people say, I want to go to study this year, and it's January, you are not going to study anywhere. Oh, my New Year's resolution is to go to get my master's in Europe this year. Do you know even when it's time to apply? Most of the applications start in July, August, up to December, for the following year in August. So when I say, when do you want to go to study, it means if you apply to universities and you don't get them, both of them, it means you have wasted 2 years. It means you have applied for going next year. In August, if you don't go, you have to apply that August to December to go for the other year in August again. So you have wasted 2 years. So you need to make sure that when do you want to go to study? If you say I'm going to study in August 2022 or August 2023, it means you have to put all your resources. It means you have to apply 20, 30, 40, 50 universities. Because if you don't get one, you get the second. If you don't get the third. That's how it works. You don't just apply 2 universities and say, I want to go next year to study. Who are you? So, when do you want to go to study? When will determine to know the application timeline for international students? When will you be able to determine what other things you need to have before you go to apply? The time of applying, there are some prerequisites. Some of the conditions have to be met. I will come to talk about where. Before I go to where, but when we'll be able to determine. Do you need to take the English proficiency test? Do you need to take the admissions test like GRE? When should you take those exams so that you can get the results on time and you go to the next step? So the second question is, when do you want to start your studies? The third question, where do you want to go to study? The first question, what is the level of study? When do you want to start your studies? Where do you want to go for your studies? Where? If you want to go to study in Europe, the general procedures to apply for scholarships will be more or less the same, but they might differ from one to another. Might differ. Application in US differ in Europe. Example, in Europe, there is no application fee in Europe. In US and Canada, you have to pay application fee. In Europe, no application fee. So, if you decide where, it will help you say, oh, I want to go to US, you need to have application fee. So when you are going to say, I'm going to take the this exam and 10 universities, you have to find the average cost for application fee for each university. Again, there is a difference between applying, for instance, in the US or in Europe. In Europe, you take one exam, English proficiency test, Either you take the TOEFL test of English as a foreign language, or you take International English Language Testing System, IELTS. But in the US, you take the English proficiency test, either of those two, TOEFL or IELTS. In addition to that, you take another admission test, just like matriculations back in the day in Tanzania or in Africa. You take the GRE, Graduate Record Examination. You take the GRE if you want to pursue non-management programs. You take the GRE exam, GMAT if you want to do the management, Graduate Management Admission Test. You take LSAT if you want to take the law. You take MCAT if you want to do the medical. So you know there is extra exam. So by knowing where you want to go, it will help you to guide when to take the exams, how to prepare, how much money you need to have to pay for those exams, and other associated resources. Or let's say you want to apply for PhD. By knowing where, by region, it will help you to guide. In Europe, they do PhD by thesis. In the US, they do PhD by coursework and dissertation. It means if you apply in Europe, you have to prepare what is called the PhD proposal, just like a draft of 5 to 10 pages. What are you going to do? Everything before you apply. You apply for a supervisor. That is how you apply in Europe. But in the US, you apply directly. There are few times you talk to the supervisor if the supervisor is the one announcing special scholarship. But in the majority, you apply direct to the university because you are going to get into the class for 2 to 3 years. You take the coursework, and then from there, you are going to start writing your dissertation. So you see, by knowing where, it will help you to figure out everything. So we have answered what level of study, when do you want to go to study, where are you going, where do you want to go to study, where, like in a region wise. Let's go to the bigger question. Why do you want to study that particular course? Why do you want to study that particular level of study? Why do you want to study in that particular region or that particular country? Why? How much do you need to go through to the application process? That is something else you need to know. Because all those kind of things are very critical. Because there are some people are applying for masters so that they can just find a way, get scholarships to go to another country to relocate. Just like this will be the only way for me to relocate to another country. There are some people go to another country or scholarships just for the purpose, only I want to get education and go back to my home country. There are some people, they want to get these scholarships, for them it's just like a job. Because I don't have a good job here right now. If I get a scholarship, I get $2,000 or I get 1,500. That's good per month than 500 per month. Let me apply for scholarship for masters, then I'll do PhD. While I'll be studying, I get paid. So people have different reasons as why they want to apply for scholarships. Nothing, don't say this is a bad reason, my reason is better than the other one. But how much you need from that reason you have, why? But you need to know to write the statement of purpose. What motivates you? What is inside you driving you to apply for that particular program? Even if you want that money, even if you want to go to that particular country, you need to have a bigger reason to convince the judges, the people making the decision, that I'm the one who is a better fit for this particular scholarship, because after studies, my impact is bigger than many people. Why do you need that particular scholarship? That is the fourth question to ask yourself. Why? These are very, very important. And the last question, just like a bonus question, like just the last question, 5 questions. many universities am I ready to apply? How many? By knowing the number of universities or number of scholarships or number of programs, we'll be able for you to know if you are going to apply for the universities or scholarships which require to pay, you know how much money you need. It requires you to know how many recommendation letters will I ask and who should I ask. If I'm going to apply 50 scholarships, am I going to ask one person for 50 recommendation letters? It will help you to guide you in that way. It will help to determine when exactly, like, okay, if I want this very bad, I'm going to do that. It helps to know you, like, not to avoid any, make sure that you avoid any mistakes, because is how many universities? Because you are not the only one who is looking for these scholarships. How many people in India who are smarter than you? There are over 1 billion people in India. 1.3.4 billion people in China. Smarter than you. Get higher scores than you. They have good work experience. So if you're going to apply and say, please give me a scholarship because I'm poor, they're not going to give you. You have to have a very convincing reasons as to why they are going to give you scholarships. And you have to apply, man. Even if you have all A's, you're not the only one in this world who has all A's. Other people have the same. So if they're looking for one person and you are 5 of you with all the same requirements, meeting the same requirements, they're going to take 1, 4 will be denied. So that's why you need to have a backup plan. A backup plan, you need to apply for so many other universities or so many other scholarships. That's the 5 important questions you need to ask yourself. You need to consider so that you can apply scholarships. And when you get, let's say you apply 20, you get it 4, 5, then you'll be able to choose. You'll be able to make a decision where to go. Should I go to Europe on this particular university, or should I get this particular scholarship or this particular program? But don't make that decision before even you apply any scholarship. So that is the important thing I want to share with you today on the number of questions or things to consider before applying to any scholarship to make sure that you increase the chances of getting a fully funded programs.